It's fine. I get up. Lose a focus. Come on, be a Shouldn't gonna stay focused. Opportunities.
How bereki, how gelezi, how zami, uputile mazoch, ushebile mahasla heba bereka san, ushebile mahasla heba pandasan, vuvuzenzele, Jova giving a bonke ababugu boshelo, get the sunbonani and a salute to all my hustlers. Give us the Macmillan the Shomo, getting in bed, game chandas when Jova says Gene Shaka, and Yagan over 2019, Gin Fisela Bonko Ogusha, all the nice things, but first out in Kubeng in Shumaez, Gitsi Kona go double sepapilini, let's tunya, Sakankulu, Uno, Oaka Umkumbi, Ukusela, Noxindisaga, Ilwane Eshugan, Zagulum Shaba, Gitinam Shaje Senza is Zintoge, Gets Manje, gets the science, Joe Saman and Togazi, Efisoguba, BioBank Assistant. Usienge officer ukuthola umsebenzi nabantu abalaphana ke National Zoological Gardens bafethu njengoba ke bayenza lo msebenzi omuhle ngithi ake sambe sobona intokazi esebenza ngeze science ngeze biology sithole eyakhe iautobiography.
I've had to be independent at an early stage. I've always been under pressure to sort of work hard. Hi, my name is Seeng Thamae. I'm staying in Pretoria. Hustler Seeng biology ile aqala ka mora ke fumana monyetla le National Zoological Gardens BioBank. Mo re boloka di sample tsa diphoofolo tse tlhokotsing. Mme sena se kenyeletsa zoology, microbiology le biochemistry. So this is the story of my life. Come with me. Dutse Free State for most of my life. Nekidula le my uncle, le Musado Hai, le Banaba Hai, because my mother passed away at an early age. I was only 6. The memories taka di vague Zayana because like nekits waka and oting, but I think I had not yet appreciated her as much as I would have. But yeah, Hashokala, it was natural causes and it was very abrupt. No one was expecting that. So we were very close, you know, Nereta almost everything together.
I would say there's no one who can take your mother's place. I've learned that. I don't care how good you have been taken care of, how provided for you are. How cinema, how like out to think. Unsonali shotang, you know, and Hasuga Mutau committing high it's illy talk about how to tell you. Utlabanza with Zazoshi and Zaurata will go Ika Omana high, but there's a void. It was Namutaka Iguala.
So I've sort of learned the value of doing things on my own, sort of being independent, because I've had to be independent at an early stage. Hanikeza grade 5, Nekidula boarding school from grade 10 until matric that we were staying alone in Bloemfontein, just my brother and I. So we sort of had to be independent and self-sustainable, you know. And yeah, so we sort of basically had to mold a path for ourselves from grade 10 to the end of varsity. We have been staying alone in the same place. And it's not to say that our parents were not supportive, it's just that they could not physically be around. Growing up, from a young age, I've always thought I would go into medicine, human medicine. I think it's a bit of a cliche, but I think Tabia medicine has always been in the family because my grandmother was a qualified psychiatrist. My mother was a nurse. So I think medicine has always been in the background. So I developed that passion, medicine. But I sort of realized Takifishabo high school, for medicine requires a lot of interaction, and it would sort of be a stumbling block for motuana personality and like I don't think I'm very good at social interactions. So kaki bona re ke hloka something yana in the background wawan. And then I realized I would rather much do lab work.
Ki dumela hore ha ne se introvert. Akaba ila tsiba ho approach a lot of people ba ke ba mo thusa ka leeto la ba a doctor kapo leeto la ba a dermatologist kapo any other thing involving biochemistries or chemistry or those microbiology things. Yeah, I believe if she wasn't an introvert, akaba ila fumana the opportunity, akaba ila fumana fundings maybe, but ula hope fela or things would work out. I would love to believe, and they did work out.
Kikeni University of the Free State in Bloemfontein. I studied BSc microbiology for the first 2 years of the qualification. Final year of the qualification, I changed to BSc biochemistry because there's a module that I fell in love with, biochemistry, and I thought, hore, what's again, this is the direction I passed the modules 2012, and my graduation was set for April 2013. I realized I have to start applying for jobs or something to do, So can't say apply, and then I became successful. Got application here, an internship offered by SANBI, Sebenza. And then I started that internship in May of 2013, and the duration of the internship was 2.5 years. So seeing as my internship is coming to an end now, I've applied for a position at SANBI's National Zoological Gardens for BioBank Assistant, and they've called me for an interview tomorrow, sort of to assess whether I've got the necessary skills to fill the position. This position as a biobank assistant at the zoo would mean a great deal to me, as would work with the collection of samples, the banking of samples, and the processing of samples for future research purposes, which contributes greatly to conservation biology and research in general. Hi guys, so kifihlile mo tlosarela interview yaka and kinalele tsole lengat. Wish me luck.
Good morning, Miss Seeng Thamae. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks. Welcome to the National Zoological Garden, the biggest zoological garden in Africa. My name is Lefa Maremachai. I work as a human resources practitioner, generalist here at the zoo. Next to me is Ms. Folofelo Ramaphosa, who works as a human resources practitioner administrator. Next to you is Mr. Sam Siokola, who will be participating in this interview as an employment equity representative. All right, so what would you say are some of the characteristics that a biobank assistant should have?
being able to pay attention to detail, as being meticulous is a good character for this job. It would require punctuality, it would require honesty and reliability, because we deal with results and stuff like so. Just sort of being inquisitive and wanting to know more about what you're doing, and also an interest in research in general.
During your internship program, what do you think were your weaknesses and your strengths?
During my internship, because I was still very new to the working environment, I realized, firstly, to begin with my strengths, I realized that I can work methodically, to get things done. I can follow processes, I can follow procedures, and this internship has also made me aware of the fact that I actually do love working with animals, so I can excel in that department. But some of my weaknesses that I've been made aware of are the fact that because working with wildlife is very unpredictable, I've learned to sort of take things as they come, which used to be a weak. I used to panic a lot because things were not going according to plan. But having realized that you sort of work with what you have and you improvise, because it's a very unpredictable setting, has sort of dealt with that weakness of being prone to panic. Yeah.
What is the importance of the biobank in your own view?
So the biobank typically would have samples stored from various types of animals, various species, and sometimes these include endangered species, sometimes these include species that are already extinct, and the fact that they are stored somewhere for future access, say for research or any other purposes for which they may be required, this makes the biobank a very crucial tool in research in general and just conservation in general.
You are going to be given 3 tasks. You will be accompanied with a mentor who, at the end of those tasks, coupled with what happened during the interview, will determine if you are the suitable candidate for the position or not.
Elo hloko ka boena ba hao ditakatso tsa hao di tla etsa re o inele morerong o itseng o tla ho isang pallo e itseng seeng yena wa ka re tsebo bokgoni le di-experiences tsa hae la ha letshogo le motshwere hanyane o tsebile ho khutla ha lona ke motho ya imametseng ene hape ya nepileng biochemistry ke dithuto tsa dibopego tsa di-chemicals le maphelo a tsona o hloka national senior certificate e tla o dumelang gore o etse degree maths le physical science di compulsory ka dikwetliso o tla etsa biochemistry ene he o ka gona go specialize ka di genetics di microbiology ha se o etsa postgrad ya hao ma hustlers ho salang o tlamea go kgetha o ka kgetha go tswafa go tla ho isa ntshokolong kapa wa kgetha go sebetsa ka thata go tla ho isa nkatlehong.
Hi, I am Antoinette Kotze. I'm the Manager for Research and Scientific Services here at the National Zoo in Pretoria. And my sort of career path started when I went to university to do a degree in zoology. After that, I got a position at the Agricultural Research Council, where I worked for many years on indigenous livestock, doing genetic characterization and also phenotypic characterization.
Hustlers ucwaningo noma ke ukudingida ikona ke okubalekile okwakheni ke isasa lethu inkampani efana nayo ke iNational Zoological Gardens ngisho no science bakhona abafana nayo ke uSeeng ibona bangifisa ukuthi ilwane ngokuhlukahlukana kwazo zohlezi zikhona ngeke zishabalale ke ebusweni bomhlaba kuze kube naphakade intokazi izohamba lapha ke ilobu ke ikoleka ama tissue ama DNA o type A o type B hey masapeleta kanjalo ake sambe sopeleta igama lethu lapha ku word jumble Ngincede ke bafethu nginikeze ama-clues amabini aku-A no-L. Uma uyazi impendulo ngena lapha ku Twitter na ku Facebook njengamanje ufake eyakho impendulo. Khona manje samsibona ke intokazi iyoshaya itask yakhe yokuqala la ke zabe isebenza ngama-penguin. Ake sithembe she will find her happy feet. Get it? Tick.
Hello, Robert.
Hello,
This is Seeng. Yeah. So this is Seeng's first task, and that is to sample this little buffalo to see if she can follow a certain process, and also with regards to accuracy. So Seeng, this is your first test. So let's see what you do. So I will give you a sampling kit, and then you need to follow a process as you think it should be done.
Okay. Okay, Prof. In this particular case, because this is not a full chain of custody sampling, we will just collect the samples from the animal, the biomaterial from the animal, and I will then complete the data sheet. No photographs and evidence bags are required for this task. Lerato la biology nka re le tswa tabeng ya hore batswadi ba ka ha ntse ke hola kaofela bona ba mesebetsing e kenyeletsang biology, so ke nahana ke le ka bona mesebetsi ya bone be ke re you know ke ntona ya khahlisa bona ke ntho ke rata ho tseba ka yona, and ha ke sheba taba hore ke a pasa sekolong haholo biology ka ke tseba hore ke yona ntho ke tlamehang ho etsa.
Okay, so Seeng, I'm going to be collecting some, just first do the hair for you, and then when you're ready, you can give me the tubes and those. So come close so we can just collect the hair. I'm going to be utilizing a little bit from her here so you can see, ooh, she's still feeling a little bit, closing the eyes. So let's get a little bit here. There we are. So there's your hair. Okay, and then we're going to try and get some blood from her. But again, she is just tranquilized. She is not completely immobilized, so she might react to when I prick the needle to try and get a bit of blood from her. So it's always just that we have to try and do it as best we can. So if you wouldn't mind just making sure that the eyes remain closed so that I can just try and get some blood from her here. So, and if she struggles, don't try and hold her very tight, because what happens is she's going to try and fight back, and what we're trying to do is just collect a little bit of blood from her, and it's normal if she tries to fight back because we're trying to do this.
I found that being zoology, in zoology is sort of a generalized thing, and I wanted to specialize in a very specific direction, and I thought that genetics is absolutely where we need more capacity in the country. It's regarded as a scarce skill, and I thought that was the best way to go.
We've got your samples. Is there any other thing that you require?
From this calf, I'll need a few measurements.
Okay.
Any measurement of
Thank
the
you.
horns.
Let's start with the measurements.
Okay. Ha ona le ntho ke ratang haholo ka mosebetsi wa ka ke taba ya hore ke sebetsa le diphoofolo ba ke motho a ratang diphoofolo haholo, so ha ke kgona ho di tshwara, ke kgona ho di bona, ke kgona ho bona hore di hlokomelehile, ke a thaba haholo. Ke yona ntho ke ratang ka mosebetsi wa ka.
Okay, that's all the measurements.
So are we finished with everything?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this calf now won't wake up nicely. So most likely I'm going to be taking her back to her enclosure and letting her wake up nicely. So
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks a lot.
pleasure seeing you. Thanks, Rob.
So we have the buffalo sample, and I would like you now to process it and also to store it appropriately. Let's go and do the processing.
All right. Okay, Prof. Now that we've arrived at the biobank, after sample collection, this is where I'll be processing the samples and storing them accordingly. So first of all, I'll start with the blood sample from the baby buffalo, which we will then place in the -80 freezer.
Okay, good.
First of all, I'll need to wear my gloves.
The biobank, the importance of the biobank is it is regarded as a national asset. We have more than over 200,000 samples stored there of different species, ranging from elephants to small frogs as big as my nail.
I'll be using sterile consumables which have never been used before, and working by all means to avoid contamination of this specific sample. So to begin with, I'll just label my tube so that I know exactly what is in this particular tube. So we had worked with a buffalo. This is the cryo tube in which I will be storing the blood. I'll just extract a pipette so as to transfer my blood from there into here. So it's just sort of important for me to get as much of it out as possible, because we don't want to waste any of the biomaterial, and all this will be stored. Ntho tse ke ithutileng ka career ya conservation biology mosebetsing o ntse ko etsa ke hore diphoofolo re se ka nana hoba di teng hona tje di tla dula di le teng nako nngwe because of various reasons animals become endangered or they become extinct for some or other reasons. So this is our blood sample that is ready for storage in the -80. So I'll just go and store this in the -80 fridge.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So with task 1, with the buffalo sampling, I feel that Seeng did well. It was just sort of a normal, straightforward sampling, so there was nothing really, following a certain process. She had to work with the vet. That went very well, the communication there, and I think that was good. Good, Seeng. This is the end of task 1.
Thank you.
Mona re bona bohlokwa ba ho kgona ho sebedisana le vete, phoofolo le elohloko ya mosebetsi. Di-biomaterial banking bona ba boloka di-samples tsa diphoofolo tsa kgale tsa hona tje hore hosane ba tsebe ho nka diqeto. Ha o le biochemist o tlameha go batla ho tseba ene o be bohlale, o be le takatso e kenelletseng lekaleng lena la science, haholo ka tsa biology le tsa ka chemistry. O kgone go sebedisana le batho o sebetse o le mong. O kgone hape le go etsa process go qalong ha teng and hape o qetele le yona. Mahustlers, ha o ikemiseditse ho kgetha dintho tse sa tlwaelehang le bophelo ba hao e tla ba bo sa tlwaelehang.
Okay, Seeng, so we've come to the second task. What I would like you to do is to do a forensic sampling. You will be provided with a forensic sampling kit. We will also have a data sheet, and I would like you to do this on a penguin. Okay, so let's go and do your second task.
All right.
Good. So Robert Seeng has a task to do today to sample chain of custody a penguin, and she will tell you exactly what is required.
So, Dr. Robert, what I'm going to need in this particular task is to take some photographs of the animal for chain of custody. I'm going to need several measurements from the animal, and as well as a few samples from the particular animal.
Okay. And I take it it's normal sampling for bloods and cloaca and oral, but we won't be able to do an oral one today. It's still a young bird, so the stress is just going to be a bit too much for him. So all our chain of custody samples that you said we can do, but we just have to have a good look at the one that we got. Okay.
All right.
Okay. As usual, love on, please.
Bophelong ba ka ne ke le motho a batlang ho sebetsa in a lab. Fela ntse ke rata ho sebetsa ka labong, but ke hlokometse hore le mosebetsi wa ka ntle hlile ke a rata. So luckily for me, mosebetsi o ko etsang incorporates both aspects. So ke kgona hore nne ke ya ka ntle fela ke khutle ke tlo sebetsa ka lab hape. Dr. Robert, I wonder whether it wouldn't be better to take the photos of the animal first?
Yes.
Before we proceed with the measurements.
Okay, we can.
Okay.
Working with animals has taught me patience, and you can't always predict what the animal will do. So, yes, it has shown me I have been in situations where a lion was, for example, sedated, and when I wanted to measure the incisors and do some morphometric measurements, the lion just lifted his head. Oh my goodness. I was within 2 seconds away from that lion into a vehicle. Good. Your knowledge of taking the pictures in sequence is good. That is nice. Good.
I can proceed with the measurements now.
Are you ready with your samples?
Yes.
Can I have the swab, please, just to put the little pistol that we usually swab for the area?
Before I hand you some of the sampling material, I was just wondering whether I could take a photo of the sampling kit unused, as this is, from what I understand, part of chain of custody.
That's
Excellent for forensic chain of custody sampling. Perfect. So forensic sampling is where you follow a certain process, including photographic evidence. So from the start of sampling right through to the end, you follow that with a photographic evidence. Yes, that is excellent. So always have the label visible when you take photos. Well done.
So, Dr. Robert, in this particular case, I'll be handing you some FTA paper for the blood sample. The reason why I've got so much hunger or a drive to achieve in life is because I look at my parents and there are people who have achieved a lot, and I sort of want to get to their level of understanding.
There you are. That's your blood. Perfect.
Thank you. If possible, Dr. Robert, could I have a few feather samples for...
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
There we
much.
go. Excellent. Thank you very much for the sampling and everything.
End of the forensic sampling, we would place all the samples we have collected, take a photo of everything that we have before we seal our bags. hlokomeleang ha o tloa sekolong o kena phaposing ya mosebetsi ke hore sekolong o tsona le bathunyana ba kgona ho jwetsa hore etsa tjena etse tjena wa bona. You still have people to sort of guide you, and you still have your lecturers. I know they don't babysit us as much as in like high school, but when you get into the working world, most of the time you're independent and you realize that you have goals and it's up to you to meet those goals and reach your deadlines.
Seeing, you now have the penguin sample, which remember was a chain of custody sample. Yes. So you have to process it and store it in the -80 freezer. But for the processing, let's go into the lab.
Okay. So Prof, now that we've successfully sampled the penguin, I've got the samples here with me. We'll be storing the swab in the -20 freezer.
Yeah, and maybe the feathers at room temperature.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay.
Right, so to begin with, I'm just going to need to put my gloves on. So because the samples were in a tamper-evident bag, we just have to cut open the bag to retrieve the samples. So in the case of the swab, because it would consume a bit more space to store it as it is, I'm just going to take the tip of the swab, which is what we need, and put it into this little vial. Then we can store it in that.
Oh, okay. Good.
So to begin with, I'll need to label my vial so that I know exactly what is in here. So this sample can now be placed in the -20.
Okay, so let's go. With task 2, which was more complicated, with the penguin sampling, which was specifically for forensic sampling, where you have to follow a chain of custody sampling event, where you have to take photos, you have to concentrate on that, you have to provide the consumables to the veterinarian and say, listen, this is what I need. And for her to be able to communicate and to be very organized, I think that's I found from her, which was very good.
So, Prof, this is the freezer in which we'll be storing the penguin sample. Now, with this particular freezer, I have to be very quick when putting the sample in so as to not compromise the integrity of all the other samples. So it'll be a quick opening, putting it in, and closing up the freezer.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Okay.
Wonderful. So the sample is safe. Task 2 is done.
Ke rata tsela e ankileng control ya sebaka sa hae. Tsebo ka se a se etsang ke sona se mo filong ho itshepa. Tjantjello ka mosebetsi wa hao, bokgoni le continuous improvement dintho tseo di tla o tswetsa pele. Je ka ha re tseba re ha o mosebetsi o senang diphephetso, mosebetsing ona o tlameha ho inela and process ya teng e telle and hape o tlameha ho inela dithutong tsa hao. Empa je ka ha e le mosebetsi wa dipatlisiso, ha se o fumane dikarabo o ka kgona ho fetisetsa lekala lena pele. Ma hustlers, ha o bea identity ya hao mosebetsing wa hao o tla sebetsa ka bokgabane.
Ilwane zonke zikamdali ngithi zinhle phinde futhi zibalekile ngithi ngibala wona ke namahahina ayihleka ububi bawo ngithi nawo ke akhona ke esibalweni njengoba sibona abantu abalapha ke eNZG bafethu naye ke uSeeng officer ke ukuba iBioBank Assistant njengoba ke aqhubeka ayinstitution ukuthi lezi ilwane ke zohlezi zikhona a collector ama tissue kodwa naye ke into enikeza ama issue yona ke iwetshombu lesu yakule viki bafethu awuthi nginikeze one last clue which is the letter P. Umuyazi ngithi sheshisa isikhathi sidliwe ikati. Ngithi masibuye emva kwekhefu intokazi iyohloloza inyoka emgodini. Kase kuyenzakalani? Ngithi izinyakanyaka chafalafa cha. Ake sithathe ikhefu bafethu. Nami ngisula umjuluko ngethishu.
So Seeng, welcome to the animal hospital. So task 3 is where you will have to sample a snake and collect biomaterials from a snake. And let's see how well you do with that.
Okay.
So, Seeng, we're going to be doing a constrictor boa or a red-tailed boa. It's not a Southern African species. So, as Prof said, it's for the barcoded wildlife. Now, I know you're comfortable with snakes, so I'm feeling very comfortable in ethics. So if you ask again, wouldn't mind putting on gloves.
So, Dr. Robert, can I begin by just taking a photo of the animal with the whiteboard here as a start?
So that's why I'll bring the head to your side for you. You can put the
Prof,
board
could
down.
you kindly hold this for me? Dintho tsene di ntshosa haholo ha ne ke etsa internship ya ka. Ke taba hore ho notwe batho ba ne ke sebetsa le bone ba kgona gore fela okay hosane re lo sebetsa le tau and re lo etsa general and then I sit and think to myself hore did they really just say we'd be working with a lion, you know?
Okay, so if you want to do your measurements, I will hold on to him.
That is according to the sampling sheet that you always have to follow very strictly. That's the only measurement for a snake.
Yes. So in this particular case, I'm going to need a few samples, which include 2 FTA samples of the blood on FTA paper, and I've also brought an extra container for some scale clipping if we can get it.
Okay, shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to ask you to hold the snake while I do the samplings for us onto the FTA papers. And Prof. Antoinette, would you mind taking the pictures for us?
I'll do that.
Yes. Thank you.
My view on snakes, they are part of the ecosystem. They serve a very good purpose. That is why they are there. Whether I like them or not, that is another case.
So the blood sample has been collected. Just that's going onto our FDA paper, and then I can put the snake away for us quickly.
Okay. I'll just quickly label our tubes with the animal's ID.
So can we have our first FTA paper, please?
So here's our second FTA paper. As you have noticed, I've brought 2 evidence bags because one we will open here at the biobank, and then the other one will remain a reference sample that will be sent to the FSL.
Okay.
At the FSL police labs, yes. I'll just proceed by putting our samples into the various bags. Sorry, Dr. Robert, could we perhaps get a sample of a scale?
Scale sample, perfect, not a problem. Yeah.
Hi, Sally, ke kalam swetso. Ke hlokometse hore se ke khona o amoela diphoofolo ka mokgwa di leng ka teng hobane e sale ke rata diphoofolo but ne ke na le ntho kgetholla go tsena ke di rate o ke rate na o fetena but hona tše ka ba ke se ke ile ka sebetsa le diphoofolo tse ngatanyana se ke di rate ka ofela ke a bona hore e leng siko ho ye e teng ho yela and
and there's the small little scale on the inside.
So for the biobank, we will keep some FTA paper, a bit of blood that we have managed to collect, and the scale clipping. I'll just place that into one of the bags, which will remain with us. And then for the FSL lab, as I have mentioned, we will just provide some blood on FTA paper. Now that our bags are sealed, I will just make an end photo to indicate that this is the end of our process.
In the BioBank Assistant, I would like a person with a lot of initiative, with sufficient knowledge of what is expected of the position, also to be able to work in a team, because this person is not going to function on its own. It must be in a team, working with veterinarians and working also with peers. So for task 3, for the snake, we would like to process it and then also store in -20. So let's go and do the processing.
Okay, Prof. Now that we have successfully sampled the snake and we have our samples here at the biobank, I will proceed to store the sample. We will store in liquid nitrogen, which is at a temperature of -196 degrees Celsius. What I'll need to do in processing this sample is put on a pair of gloves. But in the meantime, I'll first open the bag to extract our sample. Ho nka di sample di phoofolong tse re sebetsang ka tsona ke ntho e re etsang haholo, like every time ha ona le monyetla wa re ka kena ra nka di sample depending on hore na phoofolo eo e jwang ka nako eo, ra kena ra nka di sample fela re tlameha ho tlisa hore phoofolo tse ding ha o kgone ho sebetsa ka tsona ka nako eno no. Ebe highly a case Israel, then having kidney sample. But opportunistically, whenever we get an opportunity to collect biomaterials from an animal, we take the opportunity. And we can actually proceed to where I'll be storing the sample.
Oh, good. So seeing this is the last sample and the storage method is in liquid nitrogen. So what would you do to store this now forever and ever?
So to begin with, I've just got my safety clothing on, and I'll just put on this safety mask because liquid nitrogen is a very dangerous substance.
What challenged Seeng the most today, I think, was with time frames. I felt that work faster, but maybe that is just on my side, that sort of impatience.
So I'll just store our sample in here.
Okay. And you will be able to get it out again?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure. Good.
And I just have to ensure that this is in the groove so that it will close properly, like that.
Okay. That is the end of task 3. Well done. It is saved forever. Good.
How was your day?
Thank you. I had a hectic day. It's been long, but it's been very interesting. But I thoroughly enjoyed my day. It was interactive, it was challenging, and I just loved it.
All right, so we had a brief chat with your mentor who had a lot of things to say about, the 3 tasks that were allocated to you today, all right? But we thought let's give you this opportunity to ask us questions if you have any.
Okay, so as someone who is sort of looking to further their studies and be more involved in research efforts, I'm just wondering whether SANBI and the National Zoological Gardens have some study opportunities available, or can provide guidance in that aspect.
All right. So yes, as the National Zoological Garden, we believe in training, and developing our employees. All right. Through your personal development plan, and through the bursary that we offer on a yearly basis. So yes, we do offer that.
We had a good chat with your mentor. She had good things to say about you relating to the tasks that you were given throughout the day. And from our side, we would like to congratulate you for the BioBank Assistant position. We will then contact you with your contractual agreement.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. It's been lovely. Thanks.
Welcome on board in advance.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. All right, guys. So go talk to mosebetsi ona ene ke motlotlo haholo ba o tla nthusa ka toro tsaka tsa ho ntshetsa thuto tsaka pele ebile ke motho a ratang diphoofolo haholo. So I would just like to say to all my hustlers, presser, pusher, panda.
Well done, Seeng. Re bone ka wena gore ha ona le toro ka kelelong ya hao o beya pelo ya hao ho yona o tla ba sona selo seo. Potso ya rona ya beke ena e tswa go JKM. A re yena ona le kgatlhego mesebetsing ya landscaping. Go ba en landscaping architecture go go designa dibaka tse kantle for molemo o itseng ene hape le gore di be ditle. E ka ba diphaka, e ka ba di garden. Wena o tlhoka National Senior Certificate for diploma kapa yona degree. Ka dikwetliso o ka etsa BSc ya landscaping architecture kapa yona diploma ya architectural technology. Ha ka ba gona le ho sa utlwang hopola o checkela Facebook kapa yona website ya rona ke emetse ya hao potso.
Seeng is walking all the way to the BioBank bafethu khona lapha ke National Zoological Gardens bafethu ngokutholela umsebenzi omusha ngithi we can bank on these guys bafethu wensiqiniso ukuthi izizukulu nezizukulu zethu zizozibona lezi ilwane esiphila nazo namhlanje ngithi ntokazi ubambe kanjalo umsebenzi ungawuyeki kodwa nayi into engabambeki iyona ke iwejambu lethu yakule viki. Nginikeze ke impendulo bafethu igama kade silifuna yi sample yabona moyithulile it was simple ungatholanga how siyakudabukela kodwa ungasabi next week sizabe sinikeza enye iword jumble kodwa mina ke umfana kaMtambo zonke intambo sengiphuma kanje ngithohlangana khona lapha ku Twitter, Facebook and also on YouTube bafethu mina ngiyohlala ngitshela ngithi don't look down, look up and stay up. It's either you become a vulture and you wait for opportunities to occur, or you become a falcon and you go hunt for that job.